Matthew Talverini from World Baseball Network here with Diamante 23 host Leonte Landino. Leonte, thank you for being on this segment tonight during the championship game we got going on between the Charros de Jalisco and the Leones de Escogido. What are your thoughts about how the Serie del Caribe has shaped up to be?
Oh my God, we're so happy. And well, first, thank you for having me, in this great platform, which we're all boosting that, keeps growing because it's such a great initiative. So, we're very, very happy about the outcome of this Caribbean series. It's the 67th edition. So there can't be any better stage than any city in Mexico, but especially these northern cities like Mexicali. Like this is like you've seen, like the answer from the fans, how the fans have flown into the Nido. Great competition. Dominican and Mexico with great pitching. Venezuela was a great team, and Puerto Rico, had a great roster, probably a little less, and Japan is such a it's such a big, big page in history, what Japan just did, that we're so happy about what's going on here. And today with this final game, obviously Dominican Republic and Mexico, these two teams that are looking for, they're just aiming at history. Charros, with the possibility of having the first title ever for the franchise, and Escogido, another one, and the first for Albert Pujols as a manager in his first year. So, what else? He's really the man. He's really the machine. It's just unbelievable, an unbelievable career in baseball.
And what's it like to you've been to 20 plus Caribbean series covering, doing so much craft with other entities like MLB, ESPN, and how do you just feel about people that want to get into media and especially either create a niche or just be centerfold of anything like international baseball is right now in the scope of what we have going on here, the Caribbean Series, and next year with the WBC?
Yeah, I think the first advice that I always, try to, or my main message when people approach about like international baseball, it's, first you got to think that MLB is not the end, or the beginning or the end. It's neither the end of or the beginning of the entire industry. The industry has been, it's so wide in the world right now, and there's so many great players, so many great, stories, so many great things to say about different markets. So the tradition, the history, the players, and you got that in so many places in Latin America, so many places in Europe, so many places in Asia. So the first thing is just to say, it's just to put in perspective and say, hey, MLB obviously is great, obviously it's the greatest stage, but it's just one of them. It's just one of them. So understanding the impact of MLB within the entire ecosystem, it's where you start grabbing, a grasp of international baseball. And you're saying look, these players, ex-players or coaches or influence are making an impact in so other places in the world beyond their MLB careers or before the MLB careers. So, understanding the relationship between MLB and each one of these leagues is what makes everything so special. So the American fan has to look like a little beyond MLB. And I get it that sometimes it's kind of like my team is, the Cubs, and I'm a lifelong Cubs fan, and everything starts and ends with the Cubs. But there's so much beyond that, because eventually you got to understand that MLB organizations are becoming a global power, and they're not anymore your neighborhood club. So understanding all of these scenarios around world baseball, it's what makes the entire industry, at least today in 2025, so special and so exciting. And for all of us that cover international baseball, there's so many possibilities out there.
And just to see where MLB has gone with the international games, London, even when they started in '96 in Monterey, how do you just feel where MLB is now, and also having a series of exhibition games? 2000 was Estadio Universitario in Venezuela, yeah. MLB. Last few years we saw with Estadio Quisqueya, Juan Marichal. How do you just feel about even regular season games coming to Latin America more and more each year? And what upholds from that?
Yeah. Well, MLB is losing a great opportunity. We all know that. And MLB is losing a great opportunity in capitalizing more in Latin America. Obviously, we know the economies of Latin America, of Latin American countries, and we know the economies of scale in baseball fandom. Obviously, the Dominican Republic, the greatest market, in talent. But Dominican Republic, it's a small island compared to the U.S. market. And then you got Venezuela, which is a country of 30 plus million of avid baseball fans. But now you got a lot of, the migrations, movements around Venezuela and the political issues and social issues. And then you got Mexico, with a great fandom. So, and you can understand and you can put in perspective, yes, you got Dominican Republic and Asia, and there's better business opportunities in Asia, then MLB leans towards Asia. That's why we see opening day games in Japan, Korea, Australia, maybe Taiwan even. I mean, there's greatest opportunities, or the London series, an attempt in Paris a few years back that never capitalized. But I think they're still losing a great opportunity, and the opportunity is about growth. It's about growth. I mean, you got to look beyond the money, and it's about growth, and it's about fandom, because there's a huge MLB fandom in Latin America that MLB is not approaching directly, but I know that eventually they're going to get there.
And like the World Baseball Classic qualifiers, Argentina, New Zealand, Pakistan, they're not participating this time around. But what do you just feel is the scape of other countries that are in the field in Taipei and Tucson in the next few weeks? And like, what are your thoughts about the countries that want to get into the field of 2026?
Oh, it's so exciting. I mean, we're going to have, 2 great rounds of baseball. I think Argentina, Argentina is one of those stories that it's up and coming. Yeah. They have a great development. They just beat Colombia in the Serie de las Americas in Nicaragua. Great game, and there's so many players that are going to be into that level. They can potentially get a spot. Obviously, Spain, even though they don't have too many Spaniard players, I mean, they're full of players that fall under the rules and they can make it. I mean, there's a lot of Dominicans and Venezuelans and Cuban players. And then you got like teams like Nicaragua who did great in the last qualifiers, that they can be there as well. And I don't leave behind like teams like probably like a Germany, teams like even Great Britain, that they did great in at least qualifying or attempting to qualify. So even Brazil. So I think we're going to have 2 great stages in both places.
And I like about what Great Britain has done, now that you mentioned they can recruit from the Bahamas and other angles of what they're up against. And I just think it's great to see where global baseball is for either like the United States Virgin Islands. That's coming up too with their own federation. I feel that it's big. It's big to see other islands and countries in that part of the world just developing the game. And I think it's cool what Jazz Chisholm has done in the Bahamas. Curacao, a lot of legends have come from Curacao prior to Hensley Mullins, and it's cool to see what is going on in baseball. And what are your just thoughts about what the venues are going to be held for the Taipei Dome? Right, I feel like the Taipei Dome is going to have a big attendance in World Baseball Classic qualifier history, packing out all the Chinese Taipei games. Like, do you think that's going to draw more fans to be into the qualifiers now than ever?
Of course. I mean, they just did what they achieved in the Premier 12, like beating Japan for the first time ever in a finals in any stages. I mean, it's just great. They're on the top of their game right now. So Chinese Taipei has a lot of opportunities, more players that are in the radar for MLB teams, a solid national team, a solid league. I mean, that's getting more sponsorships. The Taiwanese league is growing. So everything that it's adding around the world, everything adds. I mean, for for us in the baseball industry, every little thing adds. So it's about the big fishes trying to pull the little fishes. It's not about like the big fishes eating the little fishes. So this is a different ecosystem. It's a system that when you help the small ones, we all grow. So I think it's going to be exciting for them. They have an amazing passion for the game. It's a great emerging market, Taiwan, and they're just trying to get on top of, they're just trying to be at least at the same level that Japan and Korea. They're still, long. There's a long road on that. I mean, because of years and traditions, but the good thing is that the intention is there. They want to get there.
And just to go back to the Caribbean Series, I mean, 5 managers that have a shot to manage a Major League Baseball. There's no doubt that Albert Pujols, Benji Hill, Coco Cordero, Henry Blanco, Alex Ramirez, what he's done with the Yokohama Bay Stars from 2016 to 2020. How do you just feel about these guys that could landscape a Major League job anytime soon, and what it means for the Caribbean Series to be a pipeline and scouting tool for all the 30 Major League organizations?
Yeah, even beyond. I mean, for Alex Ramirez, it could mark a return to managing in Japan. Let's remember something. Alex Ramirez was the first ever foreign player who ever manages a Japanese team. That's huge. Yeah. That's huge. Like, so, comparing to MLB, it's like putting him side to side with the first probably Latino who ever managed an MLB team. It's huge. It's probably comparable to Frank Robinson, the first African American who ever managed, an MLB team. So in Japan, in Japan it's huge. Now there's an opportunity that opens more doors. I can foresee, I foresee maybe Benji Hill, if the opportunities are not coming from MLB. I mean, what else he needs to do to get a job in MLB as a manager? He's an amazing, he's probably a better manager than 20 of the current MLB managers. If that opportunity doesn't come, I can foresee that coming from either Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and that was what Caribbean Series is doing.
And just to close out the segment, like you mentioned about and elaborate about Benji Hill, what he did in the World Baseball Classic was phenomenal. Getting Mexico to the semifinals, that hasn't happened in pretty much all their premier sports at any level. And what do you think about where Mexico baseball is just from here on out, and especially what we have right now in the next few innings?
Yeah, I think it's just everything that he has done and everything he has done for Mexico is amazing. Remember that he also got an Olympic medal, with the Mexican team, just grabbing the team like a month before even going to the Olympic Games in 2021. So it's a great cycle for these kind of play for him and also for Mexico. I mean, the growth of Mexico it continues going. This Caribbean Series is another growth episode. I mean, for me, the biggest compliment for this Caribbean Series is not on the Confederation, it's not on the teams, it's not on the players, it's on the Águilas de Mexicali team, because they're the host team and they are responsible for maintaining the passion that had more than 170,000 fans all over this week. So an amazing attendance. It's people are coming here to watch great baseball, great stories, great players and managers and coaches and everything and teams from all over the area, but they're coming here. The main thing that they're coming is to enjoy baseball, and that's what's getting people on their seats. And for that, big thanks and big cheers to Águilas de Mexicali team.